everyone. This is Divya working as assistant professor in EEE department at St. Peter's Engineering College. So in the last videos we seen what is meant by stability and how we can analyze the stability of a particular control system. In that we discussed about the stable systems, unstable systems and critical systems and coming to relative stability also we discussed. So in this lecture video I will explain about how to determine the stability by using Routh stability criteria. So I'm using that Routh stability criteria by using a PPT here. So coming to this Routh stability criterion, we have to here I am explaining about the Routh stability criteria, different cases and what are the conditions exist and what is the statement method we have to follow, and we will solve the numerical problems also. So here coming to the Routh stability criteria, initially I am considering the transfer function equation as a standard equation which is represented by C of S is equal to C of S divided by R of S is equal to B naught S power M plus B1 S power M minus 1 plus and so on plus Bm divided by A naught S power N plus A1 S power N minus 1 plus and so on plus An. Right. So this is the transfer function which we consider for a particular control system to determine, that means to explain about the Routh stability criteria. I consider the transfer function basic equation in the polynomial equation, right? So in this criteria the coefficients of the denominator are arranged in an array called as Routh array. So here this polynomial equation can be called as a Routh array. So here we can consider the Routh array as A naught S power n plus A1 S power n minus 1 plus and so on plus An is equal to 0. Right. So this is the required Routh array. And here we can see how we obtain the Routh array by using the transfer function. What we done, the denominator can be taken as the Routh array here. And coming to the coefficients of S power n S power n minus 1, the row are directly written from the given equation as, see here. So here I can write the equation directly, and coming to the coefficients of S power n and S power n minus 1, I can write directly the row as the Routh array is here. On the left hand side of this column I am taking S power n minus 1, S power n minus 2, S power n minus 3 and so on up to S power 0 I have to consider. That means, for example, if this equation is given in a order equation, that means it is having S power 5 as the maximum value, then we have to consider S power 5, S power 4, S cube, S square, S power 1, and S power 0 is nothing but that is a constant value, right? So for S power n, I have to consider the starting value A naught and all the even coefficients we have to consider, that is A naught, A2, A4, A6, like that we have to consider. And coming to S power n minus 1, we have to consider what is the S power n minus 1 coefficient, that is A1. So all the odd coefficients we have to consider A1, A3, A5 and A7, like that. Okay. And coming to S power n minus 2, here for the next row, that is S power n minus 2, how we obtained, we have to consider this product and the subtraction of that value from this value. That means here I represented that value as B1. The formula for B1 can be write as A1 A2 minus A3 A0 divided by A1. We can obtain the B1 value as A1 A2 minus A0 A3 divided by A1. That is the value of B1. So we have to determine this B1 value by using this formula. And coming to the coefficient of S power n and S power n minus 1, the rows are directly written from the given equation as B2, like this. That means here I can write it as B2. How I obtained the B2 value? In the previous slide I shown how to write the B1 value. B1 is nothing but A1 A2 minus A3 A0 divided by A1. And coming to B2, we have to write the B2 equation as A1 A4 minus A0 A5 divided by A1. So here I written the equation B2 is nothing but A1 A4, that is multiplication of A1 with A4 and minus A0 A5 divided by A1. Up to now, how many values we determine? For the term s power n minus 2 row, we determine two values. Those are b1 is equal to a1 a2 minus a0 a3 divided by a1, and coming to b2 it is a1 a4 minus a0 a5 divided by a1. So here I obtained the value of b2 also, and later we have to consider the coefficients of s power n and s power n minus 1 row, which are directly written from the given equation. That means we have to consider the next value, we have to determine the next value, right? So for that purpose, what I am doing here, I am obtaining the value of b3. So how I will obtain the value of b3? B3 can be determined by multiplying A1 and A6. That means A1 A6 minus A7 A0 divided by A1. That is the value for B3. So here what I written, B3 is equal to A1 A6 minus A0 A7 divided by A1. So in the same way as we determined the values for B1, B2, in the same way here we are determining the value for B3 also. And coming to the same technique which is used for the next row, that is s power n minus 3 row, but only previous two rows are used. That means this s power n minus 1 row and s power n minus 2 rows should be used to determine s power n minus 3. Why? Because here you can see that to determine the values of s power n minus 2, we used the rows s power n and s power n minus 1, right? So now to determine the row values of s power n minus 3, we have to use the rows which are above the s power n minus 3 rows. That means we have to use only two rows which are just above the s power n minus 3 row. The two rows which are just above the s power n minus 3 rows are nothing but s power n minus 2 and s power n minus 1. So here I am considering these two rows. By considering these two rows, we have to obtain the values for s power n minus 3, right? So in the next slide, we will obtain the s power n minus 3 row values as we see here. Here you can see that I am obtaining the values of s power n minus 3 rows by considering only the two rows s power n minus 2 and s power n minus 1. Okay, so here initially I am writing the coefficient value of the first row. First value is c1. How I can obtain c1? In the same way previously we obtained b1, b2, b3, in which manner now also we have to follow the same manner. So the c1 can be obtained by the multiplication of b1 and a3 and the subtraction from a1, b2. That means b1 a3 minus a1 b2 divided by b1. So what is the formula for c1 here? c1 is equal to b1 a3 minus a1 b2 divided by b1, right? So this is the obtaining of value c1. Then how we can obtain the value for c2? In the same way we can obtain the value for c2 as c2 is equal to b1 a5 minus b3 a1 divided by b1. So what is the value of c2 here? b1 a5 minus b3 a1 divided by b1. So this is the value for C2 which we obtained. So till now in the row 2 we obtained two values, that is C1 C2. C1 is equal to B1 A3 minus B2 A1 divided by B1, and C2 is equal to B1 A5 minus B3 A1 divided by B1. Okay, and coming to the column values, so each column will reduce by only one as we move down array. That means here if you consider, if you see this array, what is happening here? Here there existing 4, after that 3, after that 2, right? So like that the column values are reducing. And coming to here, the process is obtained till the last row is obtained. That means here if I obtain two values, after that one there will exist only one value, that is our last row, right? If here I obtained n values, after that row I have to obtain n values, after that row I have to obtain n minus 1, after that n minus 2, like that I have to obtain finally the only one value, that is our required last row. So this is nothing but formation of Routh array. This can be called as Routh array format. By using the Routh array equation we are forming the Routh array. Okay, so this is the formation of Routh array. So by seeing this Routh array, we have to determine that is the given system is stable or not. So how we can determine? So this stability concept is nothing but Routh's criterion. This stability concept determination is called as, by using the Routh array, we are able to determine the stability. So explaining the concept of stability by using the Routh's array, this concept is named as Routh stability criterion. So here we will see what is meant by Routh criterion. Okay. So let us see. This is a Routh array, right? So if all the first column elements are having positive sign, then what will happen? The system is said to be stable. That means the necessary and sufficient condition for a system is to be stable is all the first column elements must be equal to same sign. If all the first column elements, that here the first column elements are represented with A0, A1, B1, C1 and AN, right? If all the signs of the first column elements are same, then the system is said to be stable. There should not be any sign change in the first column. That means if all the elements are positive signs or having positive signs, then the system is said to be stable. Otherwise, if all the values are having negative sign, then also the system is said to be stable, right? And coming to the Routh criterion, if here there exist the values like this, if here they are existing the values like this, that means the initial value, that is A0 is positive and A1 is positive and B1 is negative and C1 is positive. That means there exists a sign change, right? So when there existing any changes in the first column of Routh's array, then the system is said to be unstable. Why? Because here if there exists sign change means the roots are located on the right hand side of the S-plane. Is it right? The roots are existing on the right hand side of the S-plane. So that we can say this system is a unstable system. Why? Because the number of sign changes are existing here. There are more number of sign changes existing. If the sign change is not existing in the first column of the Routh array, then the system is said to be stable. If any sign changes are existing, then the system is said to be unstable. And the number of sign changes is equal to the number of roots which are existing on the right hand side of the S-plane. Here there existing the number of sign changes are 1, 2, right? Here from positive to negative and negative to positive. So there exists two number of sign changes. So two roots must be placed on the right hand side of the S-plane. So this is about the Routh stability criterion. So here in this lecture video, we seen about what is meant by Routh array, how we can represent the Routh array, and what is meant by Routh's criterion. So what is meant by Routh array? Routh array is nothing but the array which is formed by using the Routh's equation. That means the denominator of the transfer function equation. From that equation, what we are framing? We are framing different rows in the Routh's array based on the s power n value, s power n minus 1, s power n minus 2, and so on, s power n. So initially the two rows can be written the values of s power n, that is a0, a2, like that. The even terms we have to write. After that, for s power n minus 1, the odd coefficient we have to take it. From these two rows, we are obtaining the values of b1, b2, b3, and from the s power n minus 1 row and s power n minus 2 row, we are obtaining the values of s power n minus 2 row. And by using all these rows, what we are doing? We are representing the Routh's array. What is the last row value? How many values exist in the last row? There should be only one value in the last row. That means from upside to downside, what is happening here? The number of elements in the column decreases. Is it right? The number of elements in the number of columns are decreasing from top to down in the Routh array. And coming to Routh stability criteria, that means by seeing the Routh array, that means by seeing the first column elements in the Routh array, we can say that the system is stable or not. So if the elements, if the values in the first column of the Routh array are having same sign, then the system is said to be stable. That means all the values are positive, then also the system is stable. If all the values are negative, then also the system is said to be stable. And coming to the other side, that is unstable condition, if there exists any sign change in the first column values of the Routh array, then that system is said to be unstable. That means if there any root existing on the right hand side part of the Routh right hand side part of the S-plane, then the system is said to be unstable. And the number of sign changes are equal to number of roots which are existing, which can be located on the right hand side part of the S-plane. Okay, it is clear. So this is about the Routh stability criteria. Thank you.